Hello, everybody. It's me again, Jason for Realist News. Got our friend Joe back from Mandala Exchange. He's got a special guest that we brought on, James O'Connor from Ireland. We're just actually asking that. Of course, I should have known by his awesome accent, but they're about to launch an exclusive token on the Mandela Exchange, and they want to talk about it. So I was happy, and when I was asking questions earlier, like, well, what's it about? What kind of coin is it? It's we'll just I'll surprise you. So we'll just get into it as it goes. But this is a good one for me, I think, because of a friend of mine and the whole industry, the movie industry. So, anyways, guys, thanks for coming on, Joe, James. Glad to
Thank you.
have you here. And
Thank you.
so, James, tell us, or not James. Let me go with Joe for the first part of this. They're using your exchange exclusively, correct?
So this is our first exclusive listing to Mandala. What that means is that we are the first centralized exchange to have this token listed, and the token is Vabble. James and I, as the rest of the team, have known each other for a while. Some of them were early token holders with the Mandala Exchange, so it was a great partnership for us and really easy to coordinate in terms of talking with the team, getting the tokenomics, really understanding the project from the inside out, and of course wanting them to list on our exchange. So that's a little bit of the 30-second background for that, and we're really thrilled to have them as our first exclusive listing to Mandala.
Great. So James, is that spelled V as in Victor, A-B-B-L-E? Vabble?
That's it. Vabble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this coin
Yeah.
or token is called Vabble, everybody. And I always talk to these guys whenever I do an interview or anything. We always chat before we start recording and everything, and I'm getting the lowdown on what it is, what they're trying to do, and I'm like, oh my god, I've got a friend that this is perfect for. So, anyways, James, the floor is yours. Tell us about your token. What is it? What does it do? How do people get involved? What's the benefits? All that good stuff. And I'm sure I'll ask some questions as you go because it's probably quite a bit to talk about. But this is a pretty exciting one. Go ahead.
Yeah, we could spend hours going into this because when you're developing an ecosystem, it's not like a 20-minute conversation. We'll get in as much as we can. And thanks for that, Joe. We're delighted to be partnering with you guys as well. Mandala Exchange, like, you've been around for a while now, and you're very trusted. I mean, sharing the liquidity of a Binance and having been able to use like essentially Binance's wallet, so you're having like this, you have the safety, everything's safe. I think that's what investors need the most. They need safety. They need to know that it's safe when they get on there, right? So we're very excited about this listing. So anyway, Vabble. Vabble's just another. So we all use Netflix. I like to start here. We all use Netflix. We're all familiar with Netflix. We sit down, we watch a film with our family and friends in our sitting rooms, wherever. With Vabble, what we're doing is we're actually creating an ecosystem based around the streaming service itself. So we have the front end, just like Netflix. You can watch all the movies that you want, but instead of just creating this one kind of window into the film, we're creating a virtual experience where it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can watch films together, just like we're on Zoom now, having a video call. You can get on video call with your friends, you can watch a film together, and you'll be able to order takeaway right from when you're watching the film, which is really cool, especially we're going through COVID.
What was something that order takeaway? What was that?
You can order takeaway right from where you are.
Oh, like food and drink.
Right, takeout. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're doing there is we're plugging into all the top kind of food delivery services. Everyone placed their orders, and the orders will be separated on our back end and delivered to the closest restaurants that you order from, wherever you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Ireland, Australia, UK, the States, wherever. It doesn't matter.
So each of the people who's watching can do that.
Yeah.
In their own house. Because here's my thing. Like, I mean, I like a good movie. I used to love going to the movies. My kids, my wife, my friends, whatever, watching a movie. And I'm just going to say this because this is really aggravating me. The movie theaters, you go there watching a movie, and it's usually the younger generation. Everybody's got a freaking phone on them. And the movie, before the movie even starts, the thing comes up, hey, please turn your phone off. Please turn it off, put it away. Be kind to everybody. They have all these messages pounding you in the face to let you know, stop watching your stupid phone and pulling it up and texting, blinding people behind you. So every single time I go to the movie, there's somebody there with a phone more than once, and usually more than one person doing their phone, calling, like literally making calls. And I'm just getting aggravated. The more I go to a movie theater, and I haven't gone so long, I'm just like, when is the day going to come when I can stay home in my couch, or sit on my couch, watch an actual movie that's out? And I never even thought about the ability to watch it with friends at their own house. So we're all together, video conferencing. I guess video conferencing is that
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
you're video conferencing, merging the film. Like you're essentially explaining what we're doing. We're trying to create a cinema experience from the home, right? Because we all went through COVID and we were all separated from each other and everything over the last couple of months and years. And that really kind of took a hit to the cinema industry in itself from revenue, but also from our own personal experiences. Couldn't go out with friends, etc. Let's bring it all into this virtual world. Maybe we can go down, maybe down the road we'll get into like metaverse stuff and do it in VR as well. But right now we're just creating in this single pane that we have right now.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm a big VR fan as well. I got a system and my kids play it, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So that's really cool. So what the token is Vabble. It's gonna, now when it's initially listed on the exchange, I guess there's not really a set price because it's just going to be listed and whatever it sells for, it sells for. Is that how that's going to go?
Well, we do have an initial price that we pulled from CoinMarketCap, which is the price at the time of launch, which is around 8 or 9 cents at the moment. But yes, it's going to just be due to, have regular market, fluctuations, regular market, market makers, liquidity, and it's going to fluctuate based on trading. So we're not setting a price. It's already had its pre-sale. It's already had its ICO phase and already been vetted and audited through all of that. So yes, we're just going to list it and let it, and kind of turn it on and let it go.
Interesting. Okay, great. All right, so go ahead, James. So tell us a little more about the project.
I suppose like what I'd like to kind of get into now. So we know from the consumer side, we're able to watch films and so forth. You'll also be able to purchase NFTs. So there's going to be exclusive NFTs for each film that we'll release. Those NFTs will be limited supply, of course, but you'll be able to purchase your NFTs. And the kind of way the VAB token integrates in with the system is when people pay their monthly subscription, 60% of that is rebated back to them in our cryptocurrency. So they're essentially buying VAB every time they pay their monthly subscription. And each time they consume a film, they're paying per quarter of the full duration. So you pay for, we'll say it's an hour, the film's an hour, you pay every 15 minutes. So it's giving the user more control over what they're spending their money on. If you look at Netflix and Prime Video and things like that today, you're paying this monthly subscription and you're paying for what are called driver films, which are the top films that everyone's watching, but you're also paying for a library of absolute crap. So rather than have the people pay for, everything, you pay for what you watch. And we're making sure that the actual subscription payment covers everyone's base average of how many times they watch a film per month. So they shouldn't have to top up again. If they need to, the option will be there, but they shouldn't have to. And then when we move more forward with the VAB token, you'll be able to purchase your NFTs with it. And when you watch a film, the VAB token is separated from the user. It's directly paid to the studio itself. So it's a peer-to-peer system in terms of the revenue. And then we kind of move into the launchpad. This is the exciting stuff. So our launchpad is essentially like an IDO platform or an IEO platform or an ICO platform where people, projects like us fund our projects through raising funds on them. Well, we thought, right, well, that's good. It's a tested model. It's a tested model. It worked for us and it worked for many other projects. So let's now look at where can we adapt and apply the same kind of model. So we were doing a lot of research. We found that the film industry is rife with corruption. And that's probably, it's like everybody probably knows that.
Yeah, at least my viewers for sure.
Yeah. The process of funding films is absolutely meticulous, ridiculous, and the chance of actually getting your funded is minute. And even when you get it funded, the chances of getting on a streaming service is even more minute. So you have so many different levels and layers to everything.
Let me interject because I happen to know a guy. We've got a lot of Joes here. Me, Joe Scorpion is his name. Joe Reben down there. A lot of Joes, 3 Joes. But he was a stunt guy for Hollywood for his whole life back, basically. Lived in California. He's told me some cool behind the scenes story about, some actors, things, just some cool stuff. But he's got a lot of movie scripts that he's written on his free time, and he shared quite a few of them with me. And I'm like, oh, this is incredible. He's got one that was like, Majestic 12, the UFO stuff, and he just ran the script with me. I'm like, oh my God, like, can I be in the movie, even a little tiny part? Like, this is cool, man. But he's like, but he went over, like, we'd have long conversations where he's explained how you have to get the funding and all these investors, and it's a very tight-knit community. And if you don't know somebody, no matter how good your movie is, and everybody has their hands out, big money just to get something done. And then, the interest payments and all this stuff, it's just crazy. So he's like explaining this, and we talked about, the crypto world. Like, oh man, maybe, one day we could do this through crypto. Or I was like, well, hell, if my portfolio gets big enough, maybe I can fund one or two of your films myself. You don't have to worry about fighting with these people all the time, trying to get something funded. But this would be the ideal platform for a guy like that, because you're getting rid of a lot of these middlemen. You're going directly to the customer, essentially, to the viewer of the movie, who could potentially be an investor at the same time. Or if you don't like the movie, you can still, I guess, invest in the project. So when you mentioned an NFT earlier, can you kind of walk me through what is that in relation to this? Like, who would want to have an NFT, and what would it do?
Okay, so we all know the NFTs are quite diverse, what you can do with them. Some early ideas that we're implementing will be, we'll just say, for instance, you get a movie poster. We happen to do a film with Johnny Depp. We're doing an NFT movie poster, digitally signed by Johnny. And when you purchase this NFT, it's redeemable against having a live AMA session with Johnny, or you're able to get on a live stream and watch the film set as they're going through production. There are a couple of ideas that we're starting with. As time progresses, cool. Yeah, it's more of a collector's item kind of thing. But I believe that, just the idea, for me anyway, as someone who enjoys film, just the idea of being able to get this involved in a film, like being able to sit down with the cast and crew and have a chat with them in a live AMA session, or watching the film getting produced, live streamed, and ask questions maybe in the chat. And also having this little piece of the pie, like having my own money invested in the film itself, and making sure that my money is being used to produce the film that I want to see. It becomes this organic growth as well. Like, it's in itself. Like, if I'm funding the film, I'm parting with my own cash. I'm going to tell my friends, and everyone else is doing the same as me is going to tell their friends. So it creates this huge organic marketing push behind the film, which may reduce marketing costs of the studios itself significantly. But going back to the NFTs, they will be redeemable. Some of them may not be. It might be just pure collector's items, but we will try and focus on making sure that they have their value, they are redeemable. And we'll also probably do things like merchandise and things like that as well. Excellent.
Wow. So all right, let's go to a different role. So let's say, like my example, my friend Joe, he's now becoming a producer essentially, and he wants to create movies. So walk us through, if you're him, how do I get on this platform? How do I get funded? How do I do that process?
There's a couple of stages to the process. So the first thing is, obviously, you submit your proposal, and it needs to be a detailed proposal as well. It needs to have what budget, who will the crew be, the script. It needs to have the synopsis of the film. It needs everything, right? You need to have your full plan.
And he's got that stuff, yeah.
That's awesome. So once we get all that, it's passed through the Vabble Film Board. Right now, it has 2 members with a further 3 joining in the next couple of weeks. And so basically, the Vabble Film Board at the present moment is made up by Sean McGillicuddy, who is a assistant producer on Game of Thrones, and he was also a cast member in the Game of Thrones. We have John C. Hall, who is former EVP of Universal Pictures. And as I said, we have another 3 joining in the next couple of weeks. Can't give them away yet, but they'll be announced soon. They'll all get the scripts, and they'll read through them to make sure that it's not someone just trying to chance their arm. It's not like they're plagiarizing someone else, or it hasn't already been made. So once it gets through their kind of validation process to make sure everything's above board, there's no copyright problems, it gets pushed through to community vote. And this is where the Vabble community come in, and they read through everything. If they like the film, they vote in favor of it, making it to the launch pad. If they don't, it's cast away. So then if a film makes it through the vote, it gets put on the production launch pad, and everybody's able to go in, fund the film. Then the studio receives the funding. The user will receive the bonuses, like we're looking into doing revenue sharing. So any money that the film actually makes.
Let me back up for just a second, because you said something that caught my eye or my ear. You mentioned it'll go through this process, the board or whatever. All right, so let's just, for example, my buddy's got a $8 million film. That's what it's going to cost. He gives you all the stuff you need. It checks off all the boxes for you guys. Hey, this looks legit. Let's go with it. Where does the funding come from to give him the $8 million? Is that from your token, the ICO, that kind of stuff, or is this something where me as a user has to now help fund?
It's a community funded they're community funded films. So when it gets through this process, it gets to the funding launchpad. This is where the community come in, because they already voted they want this made. So the community then come in and fund the film.
And the community is who? Everybody that's a
everybody.
Token holder?
Anybody who is involved in crypto. We're talking about multi-billions of dollars worth of liquidity out there in the crypto market. It doesn't matter who you are. You come into the platform, you fund it with VAB token.
So basically, I'll log in, I guess, no, I'm going to pretend I'm the consumer, the guy that wants to watch the film. I log into the platform. I see this new, like pending or whatever status it would be, where I go, hey, do I want to fund that? And I kind of click on it, and it tells me all about the film. And then I can go, oh, you know what? I want to fund this. So at that point, I mean, let's say I was a pretty high roller and I got $500,000. Am I able to fund $500,000 right there through your platform?
Yeah, and exactly. And the actual studio itself sets the rewards that the investors will be paid. So it'll obviously be like a tiered system as well. Like, so if you're investing over $500,000, you'll probably be brought to the set. You'll get a massive chunk of the revenue sharing or the reward sharing. There'll be so many different perks set by the studio, and as you goes down the tier system, obviously you get less and less and less. But it's the more you invest, the more you'll get out of the film itself.
I see. So okay, so there's the incentive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna.
There is a return.
And is it simply like in a sense interest, or how does someone like me get more back as far as my initial investment?
So basically, it's based on interest. It'll be based on interest. So you should get your initial back plus whatever the interest may be. But that all that needs to be set by the studio itself. We can't set that. It's not our job to set that.
When you say the studio, which studio? The film guy,
so the guy who's submitting the proposal that the film made. That's the studio. The studio needs to set all these prerequisites up before it actually gets to the funding stage.
Nice.
Yeah.
And let's just say you have a film. Like there's always that film that I think like one for us in America. It's an old one from I remember when I was a kid in the 80s. It's called A Christmas Story or The Christmas Story. Little kid with this BB gun, whatever. I watched the behind the scenes stuff on that, and they're like, this was just like, wasn't that big of a budget film. It was just kind of whatever. But it turned out to be this incredibly successful movie that's watched like every freaking year for like the last 30 years. So if you have let's go back to the example, $500,000 investor, and you have one of those where, I mean, I guess all the rules are set, the interest, whatever, it's all set by the studio, but it freaking goes crazy and just does a massive, end up bringing in a massive return. So I guess I've still, as an investor, I'm not really going to get a bonus because it did great. I'll still get what I was promised, I guess.
Again, that'll depend on what the actual studio wants to part with themselves.
Because they could set it up, right? I mean, if they say, hey, if this thing goes and pulls in $50 million, we're going to give a bonus maybe to different tiers.
Yeah, exactly. They can do all that. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's essentially, I don't know if you'd be familiar with it, but it's called the Waterfall system. That's how it works in the film industry. So they get the funding, and then you have the studio at the bottom, the producer, and they're at the very bottom. And they have all these layers that they need to pay until they actually see clean cash. And that includes all the interest to pay to VCs. And that means all the bonuses that need to be paid to VCs. So what we're trying to do is take out as many variables in this waterfall system that producers have to deal with, and make it more simplified for them. So they can see their clean money, their profits faster. So that's essentially what we're trying to do. And we're doing that in a way, like, I think doing it through a community environment and funding the films, it makes for an easier process for the studio itself. Plus, if we start using smart contracts as well, it's completely automated. So they have that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it again, when you have these, face it, all Hollywood, everything is big shots. The big shot production companies, the executive producers, all these different people, whatever. Lionsgate, we all know them. places like that, there's not very many. So it's kind of, like the banking system. There's a few different, banks out there for the most part, company names, and then that's your choice. So with this, we're all about crypto, and the biggest thing, what is crypto? It is decentralization of technically something that's been centralized for a long time, like the banking and finance system. So if you decentralize movies, funding it, all that goes away. It's kind of like, these little micro, like we see stuff now, you got Walmart, you've got these big corporations. Well, that's where I go shopping, but realistically, we should be doing like micro things in different zones, micro,
right,
rather than these giant, tens of thousands of acres of farmland in one little area. It's like, you should have, 50 to 100 acres all over the place, so that if something happens over the big one, the rest, all of us don't suffer, right? So that's what we all know. That's what crypto is.
It's diversifying it. Yeah.
And that's exactly, I mean, this is to the T, decentralization, crypto. This is what you're talking about, but in the film industry. This is, I swear, I wish I would have known this was how I was going to go. I would call my friend Joe. You got a few minutes? You might want to ask a few questions that you as a producer and stuff, would like to know, but I think I'm already hearing everything he'd probably want to hear. So this is really
I'm going to give you another
exciting
example. I had a call last week with someone, and we were having quite a long call, and they had to leave the meeting because they had to go to another meeting, and they're after getting there. The movie was worth like 20. I think it was funded by $20 million, something like that. And he had to go meet with the investors because the investors wanted to adjust the script or pull the final scene or something like that. So they have the writers and the producers and the directors. They have this huge problem where when you have decentralized VCs and the big top dogs of the film industry in control of your production, you don't actually get the production you want made. It's altered to suit their agenda, their marketing, whatever else they need to plug in, which I get. But at the end of the day, the directors don't get what they want, and they're the ones who actually have the talent to put it on screen. So doing it in this decentralized way, the directors and the writers and the producers actually finally get to produce something they want to produce and not have to worry about pulling it because of the top dogs don't like
right.
it.
Because once it gets to that stage, and I'm a user of the platform, I go, I'm gonna put $100,000 in this. I've already seen what he's written, so
yeah. You either like it or you don't.
There's no changes now. Like
there's no changes.
It's what he wants. It's what I've agreed to. We're good.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly it. And it's gonna we are fully sure that it's gonna work out. Especially in the things coming up in the next couple of months. It's gonna grip the crypto market substantially more than we ever thought we would in such a short space of time. But how we work it and how we penetrate the industry is by creating a driver, and the driver is going to be a substantial film that we're going to get put into play over the next 12 months. And that driver is going to drive the launchpad, and it's going to set the bar of what people should expect coming through our production launchpad. And then obviously what's making it to their screens through streaming on Vabble as well. So we're creating these standards, and we need to create these standards because although there's a lot of people out there that want to have films made, not everyone should make a film. And that's the unfortunate thing.
Agreed.
So I mean, you might be a great writer.
Yeah. Hold on, since we just said that, I got to throw this one out there. Did you guys ever, when it first came out, watch the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
I think that might be in that category.
There's a lot of them in that category. There's a lot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so what we're doing, we're on a mission, and missions are never easy, especially when you're stepping on the toes of some of the most powerful people in the world. But we're not going to give up anytime soon. I've been doing this far too long to give up, so we're going to be here for a long time. So
let's say after today, or do you have a time frame when this token is going to launch on the exchange, Joe?
Yes, we do. We actually just opened for deposits today, and we should be going live tomorrow. And we have a couple of really cool things coming up, such as trading competitions and NFT giveaways, things we're working on for our communities, cross community, which is going to be great. We're doing both volume trading and then market buy trading. So we have a couple different really cool campaigns. But yeah, we are live for deposits right now. And Well, James, I want to touch on something you said a second ago, which is really funny. You know, we've worked way too hard and we're definitely trying to step on the shoulders of some of the industry giants. I have no idea where that would come from on the exchange side of things or how we plug into that. Joking. But yeah, this Power project, you know, we picked up Vabble right away because like we were saying, some of their, you know, C-level team, some of their C-level team founders and investors were also token holders of Mandala. And, you know, they've seen us go through the struggle like we talked about last time and go through the basically reiteration or reformation of our exchange to get where we are now. So it's one of those things. It was a no-brainer. We saw the vision, we understand the build out, and you know, we're happy to be partnered with them and be here for them for that build out and to give everybody, like you were saying, James, a safe and really vibrant place to trade where you can always interact with not just the community, but as you know, myself and our other team members really every day, if need be. So.
I fucking love Mandala. I mean, like, Mandala needs to be, it needs to be seen by more people without a shadow of a doubt. Like, you already have a great user base. It needs more people. It needs to be up there. Like, being able to trade Binance liquidity at discounted fees. Like, I need to invest hundreds of thousands into BNB, right? To even trade with the fees that you guys have. It's exactly like Mandala is just the user. I think what you guys are creating is just a fabulous user experience, and I think that's the most important. The user experience is just phenomenal. So this partnership, hopefully, what you've done for us so far, hopefully we can give back to you in terms of users and get the name of Mandala out there as much as possible too.
And I need to ask something, but I'm going to pause the recording because I just need to. So hang on 1 second. Okay, so now that I got the green light, I can go ahead and tell everybody, you know, why I paused it. So I said, okay, you know, I realized Mandala is on the Binance platform, right? That's the liquidity they use and everything. They got the insurance, everything's great. And I'm like, well, Joe, you said this is an exclusive token on Mandala, but Mandala uses Binance. So I'm like, I don't want to put you on the spot with this question. So I'm like, what if I go to Binance and I want to go buy this coin on Binance, this new token? He goes, no, it is literally exclusive to Mandala, even though the build out, the technical side of it is already written, it's already running, so to speak, on Binance, but you can't use it. You can't see it there because it is for Mandala. So later on, if Binance decides, I think, you know, it's okay to put it on there, whatever, the infrastructure is already there, I think is what you mentioned. So that's real. This is really cool. I was not expecting that answer. I was expecting you to say, well, yeah, they could get it from both of us because we're kind of, we're using them. And you shocked me by saying that. So that's really, really great. And that's why I tell you guys, use freaking Mandala, man. Use Mandala.
I mean, if you want to get in on the future of film funding and the streaming industry as a whole, you need to get in on the future of exchanges and how their experiences are going to work. So you need to go to Mandala and then you need to buy VAB because that's the only place you're going to get it. Forget about Uniswap. The fees are.
Is that the symbol VAB?
Yeah, VAB. Yes, VAB.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the initial trading pair, is that going to be Tether or there's more than one?
Yeah, it's USDT to start, and we are working on other pairs. But the first one to release, we wanted to release it to a stable, obviously, to give it that, as much liquidity as possible.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Sorry for interrupting so much. Like all these things here. Oh, ask that. Nope. Oh, say that. You got to ask this.
Joe, that's no problem. And I'm glad you brought that up too with the exclusive listing. These really are truly exclusive listings to Mandala, and for it to be the first one, it's a major milestone for both companies and both user bases, because this is a huge thing we've been working on for our build out for a while. Like we were saying, James and I and the teams have been in talks for months building this out and doing it the right way. And you're going to see that whole, like I was saying, the whole marketing push with the campaigns that we're going to run, the contests that our user bases are going to have a lot of fun with, not to mention the prizes are pretty substantial. So that's going to be really good for both user bases to bring everybody in and really showcase both of our projects.
Well, that's great. So if this question will be to James. So if I'm an investor right away on Mandala and I buy the VAB tokens, do the VAB tokens play any role on your website? Whereas if I'm also one of these guys that say, I want to fund $100,000, what am I funding it in? Like, am I literally just sending bank to bank, or am I going to have to buy the VAB or buy some other coin through your platform to invest like 100,000 in the particular thing? How do I do the investment?
No, let's keep this simple, and that's what we wanted from day one. You buy Vab on Mandala, you want to fund the film, get your ass over to Vabble.com, fund the film. Simple as that.
With those coins?
With those coins.
Oh, okay. So again, let's just say, pure example, I know this is probably ridiculous, but I'm just for simplicity. One of these coins that are now, let's just say 8, 9, 10 cents. Ultimately, I bought, a crap ton of them. Now they're worth $1,000 each, let's just say. And I want to put $100,000 in. So I just need to put 100 of my coins in.
Yeah.
On your exchange, correct? Or not exchange, your website, because of the current value. So it's always looking at the current value of the coin.
Right.
And at that moment, I can go, okay, I'm going to go to Mandela and buy them. So if I'm on your website, I don't actually buy them on your website. There would probably be a link to Mandala to get them and then transfer them over, or my account's linked somehow.
No, you're going to have to transfer them over.
Like a wallet, sending, receiving, just like that. So there'll be like a wallet on your platform that's mine. And I'll go to Mandala, log in, say, okay, send over $100,000 worth of these coins to my receiving address over at the your website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, just to put some clarity on that too, though. There's a lot of regulations around crypto and stuff. We will not be the custodial holder of the VAB token when it's on our platform. We're partnering with another partner whom I can't mention yet. But they have all the licenses we need in order to operate in every country in the world. So you will be sending them over. You will see them on the VAB side, but they will not be held in custody by us.
I understand. Exactly. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's one other thing I want to touch on, and it's not a lot of people don't pick up this as much when I talk about VAB. Maybe I don't put enough emphasis on it. We are striving to allow global masses of people use cryptocurrency without even noticing they're using cryptocurrency. The system is completely automated. So they pay their subscription every month in fiat, right? And 60% of their fiat is going to buy VAB.
Yeah.
Market buying VAB, right?
Right.
Or coming out of the reserve. So our total goal in the next 5 to 10 years is 33 million people buying VAB every month through subscriptions. And that's going to be 33 million people spending VAB every single month, which is substantial. And the fact that 33 million people don't even need to know they're spending it because it's autonomous, it's what we strive for in terms of global usability of cryptocurrencies. So we're fully committed to making a seamless integration that it just suits everybody and there's no technical knowledge required.
Wow. Yeah, I remember back in 2017, I used to get emails like always, hey, we'll pay you to, big money, to promote us on YouTube. And I'm like, I see some of these products, I'm like, no, thanks for that. It's a lot of money, but no, I'm not, going to ruin my reputation on that. So, but there was a few where I go, and there was some, I remember one in particular, I can't remember the name of it now, but I thought it had the word stream or something in there that was kind of trying to do what you're talking now, but nowhere near on the level. And to be fair, I did let them come on and we did interview and everything, but I don't know. I don't think anything really much came of it, which is a story about honestly a lot of them, but they were, what you're describing is like, alien technology level higher than I think what they were doing or wanting to do. So I'm like, yes. And right now, my friend, like I said, my friend Joe Scorpion's down in Puerto Rico getting the great tax benefits, not just for crypto, but for the movie industry. So when he funds stuff, the fees are ridiculously low for, what he has to pay the government basically, taxes and such. So that's why he's down there. He's talking with some pretty hard hitters down there in the crypto world. They want to possibly, he was telling me and I'd only talked to 2 weeks ago, they were talking about maybe building a fairly large studio and mostly for like, CGI and whatever, like, the special effects, whatever you want to call it these days, where a lot of films are, going to like, animation and stuff, so it's just stuff like that. But he's always told me about the difficulty with funding. And he had one with the, which I can't give details, but a Chinese company saw one of his scripts and like, this is it. We want this. So go, yes, we're going for it. And it was a good one, a good, I don't know the exact price tag, but it was a, pretty decent. So everything was great until like the last minute. And I think it was one of these big investor Chinese companies that, like you're talking about investors, and they're like, well, the relationship right now with the United States just kind of went sour. And so we're gonna stop. We're gonna just cancel that completely.
It's
And
politics.
and he goes, because partly because this entity is, well, government owned, Chinese government owned, and to that extent, we don't know what they're going to do or not do. We don't want to take a chance, so we're pulling it. So he's like, oh my God, I had all this stuff lined up, like we were like this close to going. So I hear that it's sad.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of a token and a project like Vabble. You decentralize everything. Governments don't get in the way. It's investors that want to be in the movie business, maybe want to own a piece or really like the project or however it's marketed. And that's the absolute beauty of this token. And that's the absolute beauty of the vision of this project, which is why it was a no-brainer for us to bring them on. And because we see how much they're going to disrupt this sector of the market. I mean, it's if this is done right, it's absolutely going to revolutionize all these different things, from the home theater to the production to the NFT world and the fan-based world. So it's
And I'm guessing you can pause, right? If in the middle of you're watching the movie for the first time, you can press pause.
Yeah,
right?
of course you can.
And then just, hey guys, potty break, kids, wife, let's go to the bathroom real quick. Like, you can't do it at the movie theater. You got to run out there, hurry up, come back,
Right.
What did I miss?
Yeah.
Sorry. Everything's on a time limit.
We were playing with the idea of doing live comedy shows as well. And it's just like a little kind of Easter egg. We were thinking about throwing in there was like live heckle buttons as well. So you're able to heckle the comedian from your sitting room, or your living room. Or
oh my God, I love it.
We have we're going to get playful as well, and it's all part of the fun.
Yeah, it's like the it's limitless what you could potentially do. So all right, so let's go here. After today, whatever I'm gonna put this video up probably later today or tomorrow. And again, Joe, the actual trading begins tomorrow.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so I probably put up today then. Yeah, I need to put up today then. So, all right, so back to James. When does this actually like really go live to where if I'm the guy that wants to fund a movie, I'm ready to go. I got my scripts, I got everything. When can I go? Please, I'm dying. How soon do you think that kind of that can happen?
We have an MVP for December. Mid-December, right? Really, we're talking March next year before we have a live alpha. The MVP in December will be exclusive to certain people, not a lot of people. There's a specific reason for that. But in terms of you being able to come on and everyone else, it'll probably be March next year. And by then as well.
That's not far. Okay.
It's not that far. It's not that far. Our developers are working night and day. They're really tired, but they love it. And they're going to get it done.
Well, I'll tell you, I like a project like that where you got a lot on your plate. Kind of reminds you, there's a coin I invested in early on called Theta, where they do streaming and stuff. It's a great project. But every time they do like a milestone and here's where we want to be, like they're there usually before they get to that point. Like you said, these guys got developers day and night just pounding away, making great progress. It's one of the greatest things I've seen in the crypto space because they're really running with it. So when I hear you guys basically doing the same thing, I know number one, you're serious. And number two, it's going to happen. So if you're saying March or that time frame, you'll probably be close. And I understand there's setbacks, the bigger the project and, that sort of thing. I'm not concerned about that, but obviously you're serious about this. And that's a good thing because we really need someone to come into this space and just handle it, where everybody goes, that's where you go. This is it. The whole world knows. Right. That's why I'm going to go watch a movie with my family or friends or live stream together while we watch it. That's a great idea. It's right. It's great.
And I mean, if people get into VAB early, I mean, you might get a lifetime subscription. Depends on how much you're holding, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and one of my biggest regrets is that I couldn't get in early because I knew the listing was going to happen and I couldn't trade on it. I couldn't invest in it early. I mean, now I can, and full disclosure, I am getting into it obviously because it's public knowledge now and it's not insider trading. But as a lawyer, it's something we have to be so cognizant of, and it really, for me, it kind of hurt my soul a little bit that I couldn't get in because I loved the project, I loved the idea, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot trade this. This sucks. So it's one of those things, we have to look out for. But now, absolutely. Now it's fair game for the public. I love being involved. I love having holding tokens of the project as well as being involved with the list, getting them listed. So it's just a really cool thing for all of us, and we've all, like I was saying, the teams know each other. We've all gotten to be friends, at least over the internet. And I do want to definitely come out to Ireland sometime and have a beer with you and hang out.
We got to
you know.
drink whiskey.
Oh well, I mean, I love whiskey. I love
We'll be into
bourbon.
whiskey.
Let's go all day.
Yeah, sure.
That'll be fun. That'll be a good time for us as well. And that's a great thing about crypto. We all meet online like this. We all meet over these meetings, but getting to meet in person at the conferences or just even taking a break for once. Not that any of us know what that is at this point, but it would be great to have a couple of days to hang out, meet up, and toast the success of these projects.
For sure.
So,
and I don't believe, and I would say, Joe, I don't believe that this will be the last stop on our partnership over the next couple of years.
I don't think so either.
Great. Well, James, was there anything else that I know I cut you off on the stuff because I just had to ask, but did you miss something that I just kind of stopped you from saying that you can think that you needed to say, or you pretty much covered?
I could keep going on for hours. I'm not going to. I think
okay.
I think everyone will get the idea now. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, I have a link in my description box that'll take you right to the Mandala website. But if you're an American, not supposed to use that exchange just yet, but just
that's correct.
See my description for any information. So guys, appreciate you coming back on again. This is going to be epic. Like, I swear, as soon as I'm done recording right now, I'm going to call my friend Joe. Dude, I've got the funding. You just need to wait a few more months. You've been waiting like years now, pulling your hair out. Like, just a few more months, man. I think I've got something for you. And I don't think
we can hook up a call and we can have a chat and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. And to be fair, like I'm telling you, he's not one of these what we call jabroni, film. Like, this guy's got some serious, really good stuff. And he just real quick, he was telling me like he's got one that was like a Western in India, and they're like, you can't do a Western in India, like you can't be done. So he writes this thing up, hands it to some big shot over there, and they're like, how the hell did you do this? Like, we want this exclusive rights to this. We want to produce it over here. So he's like, got this. Like, I mean, he's a great guy. So yeah, I think I do need to see if we can get a little conference one day, just to, because he might be one of your next guys, and I'd love to be like, hey, oh my God, I did it. Like, I helped be that middleman for my friend who I've been thinking I'm going to fund something myself for him one day when crypto explodes, okay, I'll just give you all the money. But that's a lot of risk for just me. So it's like, spread the risk, but spread the reward too. Right. So this is going to be great, man. This is exciting. I haven't been really excited about a project in quite a while, actually, to be honest with you. So this is cool. So yeah, listen, if there's any other updates in the future and you want to come back on, oh, hey, Joe, blah, blah, with some progress reports, or we're adding this new feature, or, you just want to get the word out, man, let me know and we'll do another video.
For sure. We'll do this again. All three of us. It'll be fun again.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll appreciate it. We'll chat. I'm sure we'll chat again.
Thanks, James.
Chat soon, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.